Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. I'm waiting to see eyeballs come on here. Oh, oh, there we go. Went from 0 to 70. So I just had an exciting moment here beyond. I always prepare this thing the day before or the day before. And then I get on and right now, 10 minutes before, and all the work I've gone is done. Is done. So fortunately, it's gone. Poof. So I could retrieve a little bit of it. And today we're going to do wrap stitches, which is bullion and French knot. But and Susan, I don't know if you sent me any pictures or not. I don't know. But if you did, resend them for next week because man, they're bye-bye. I just got something from Carol Berry this morning I want to show you guys, but I I didn't say bad words, but if I had said bad words, it would have been just fine and everybody would understand. So, I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July. We have a little place up in Groveland, California, which is one of the funniest little towns on the face of the earth. It's the beginning of the northern entrance of Yosemite, not the Merced entrance, but the northern, and it's like off 120 or something like that. And we've had a place in the family for 25 years or whatever. But I wanted to show you how funny this little town is. Hey, Barb, look at this. That's it. That's downtown. Now, the thing you have to know is when I was trying to pull up pictures of downtown, I everything came up with the Iron Door Saloon. Everything. Well, what you have to know about the Iron Door Saloon, I think it's the oldest running saloon in California, and it was established during the gold rush. I wanted, let me, is this it too? Oh, I have the same thing. Oh, darn. There it I'm gonna try and get something, and I hope all my pictures don't come up, but you gotta see the inside of this place. It is hilarious. Okay. And I'll tell you what, real motorcycle gangs go there, real all of that go there, and it's not where you wanna be on a Friday night, period. But you go inside. Let's see if this opens up. There we go. Yeah, this is it. And look at the ceiling. It's hilarious. It has dollar bills that have been flung on the ceiling with thumbtacks. They could probably, when they close this thing, but they never will, retire on that. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Okay, so on the 4th of July, they really whoop it up in Groveland, California. They really whoop it up. Let me move this over. No, here. It starts, like, down at the lake at about it's a small lake. I think it's, like 8 miles around the edge or something. It's man-made, but they have a boat parade. That's one of the many things they do that day. There's a band down at the beach. There's 3 beaches, perfect place for kids, but they have a boat parade, and I, actually grabbed these off the internet because we chose to stay at our place where we've got a nice little view, but you kinda miss the details, the Titanic. My parents had a houseboat, and it was named the Titanic. Look at this one. You're gonna die. Oh, shoot. Why is it up so high? Darn it. That's what happens. That's what happens when things fall apart at the last minute. There are maybe about 25 boats. But then at dark, 9:10, they put on a spectacular, spectacular fireworks display, of which at our property, you can see it kind of, but there are trees in the way. So we go next door. They were out of town and they said, no problem. We go next door and we can see the whole thing with all the neighbors. But this all said, we take the cat up there, okay, and she has to stay inside because there are wild beasties up there. And apparently, we have a fox. Yes, we do. It's on our property. So you can be sure that we definitely don't let our kitty outside. She used to have anxiety attacks over being outside, but she's gotten over it now. She travels just fine. It's about 100 miles from Livermore. So, perfect place. and it is mayhem on the 4th of July. Absolute mayhem. Okay, so I want to show you what I've been working on, and Susan has a ton of questions, of which I'm not going to be able to answer a lot of them, but I will try. Let me get my camera, document camera. I pretty much finished this, other than I have to figure out the bunny tail. Okay, and what we're going to learn today, let me get this down here, are French knots and bullion. The bullion is actually what's making up this bumblebee. And no, I'm not teaching you the bumblebee, but that's what's making it up. And then this is a bullion that has like a whipped edge to it, kind of a cast on. I think they call it cast on bullion for the wings. And it has a little ruffle around the outside edge. You will be able to find that in your embroidery books. It's not in the pattern we're doing. This is a bullion. This is a bullion right here. And then, of course, we're going to start with French knots. I thought I lost this morning, and I was having a stroke, and John came in, promptly found it for me. Yay. So then what I worked on this weekend was this guy. Okay. And no bullions yet, but there are a ton of French knots. And even this part up here is a French knot. This particular stitch really scared me, and it wasn't that hard to do. It's not in your pattern. I think once you start understanding, and I showed you last Monday how to look at the pattern, how to really see what's going on, because I didn't in the olden days. It becomes making these stitches quite reasonable. It's like, where is the needle in relationship to the thread? And you have to just keep looking at that. We did this. That's in our little pattern. Truth be known, you guys, I had to get back in my book and look it up and see how to do it again. It's not 100% implanted in my brain. It's an easy stitch, but we've done that. All right. So let's go to some of Susan's questions. And Susan, you are not going to be happy with what I'm going to say. John printed it out. Okay, where's my glasses? They're right here. I brought them in. Gosh, what did we do without all this technology in the olden days, right? Okay. She goes, it's me again. I would say a lot of these questions could go on the forum, but the forum has a couple issues. So we've closed it. It's under construction. So that's super bummed out, because I was hoping to pull some images from that. Okay. How many wraps are in each French knot that are in the center of the dandelion? I'm going to tell you, when I did this pattern, I had no intentions of teaching it. So I'll tell you what my go-tos are. All right. My go-to is 2 wraps. And in fact, in this one by Sue Spargo, she was having us do 1 wrap. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's got to fill up to here. And I thought that's going to take forever. So I just chose 2 wraps. And when Sue was at my retreat, we asked her how many on a French knot. And she said, my go-to 2 wraps. But you can do 1 wrap. You can do 3 wraps. Okay. Are the other French knots probably the same size? Yeah, probably. How did I stitch the frog's eye? I'm going to have to look at that. This frog, truth be known, I screwed up. I wish I had 2 little wool bumpies for the eyeballs, but I didn't. So let's take a look and see if I can figure out what in the world I did. Okay, what did Alex do? Camera, document. All right. Hey, Mr. Froggy. So what I did, from what I can see, is I did a little running, because, like, again, on the first time I ever did a frog, I had these eyeballs there, and they were much cuter. I got done with this, and I'm like going, oh my gosh, I screwed up. So this is just like a little stem stitch around the eyeballs, the light green. Let me grab this janky pencil, my pointer. Okay, here. And then in here, that's the chain stitch. I filled with the chain stitch. And then his little eyeballs are French knots, okay? And then we go around the edge with another stem stitch right around, as small as you can get. And then the belly is chain stitch, okay? And then there's our little French knots we're gonna be doing today. Okay, where'd your paper go? I know the one you're not gonna be happy with is the one I'm gonna say pretty darn soon. Okay, all right. How did I stitch? Okay. How many wraps are in the front with the French knots? Just stick to two. Stick to two. And if you think they look so clunky and big, so what? Pull them out. Okay. Now, the bullion stitch. The bullion stitch I would do on another piece of cloth before I go over. You have to decide if you want your bullion stitch. Oh, look, I've got one here that's flat and then one that's perfect. Did this on purpose. Notice here that I'm showing you my boo-boos, all right, as well as my successes. Okay. So this one's fairly flat, all right, whereas this one pooches. These pooch a little. And the amount of wraps really depend on how long your stitch is. And Susan, I think you sent me a picture and yours were pretty flat. And I said, if you wanted to foof a little bit, to add another 1 or 2 bullion stitches. So it's a matter of, the look you want. You know, I wouldn't go too big. I would say this here is probably less than 1/4 of an inch. And if I were a betting woman, I'd say there's 8 or 9 wraps on this. So there's not a number, okay? At least for me, because I do things the hard way. Okay, well, I'm going to look at this. That's not in there. Okay, see, this is a really small one because I kind of ran out of room. Well, I didn't. I don't know why it's small. These are all pretty flat. I like the poochy ones. Okay, these ones. The great thing about this particular pattern is that you can't screw it up. Okay, you can't screw it up. Hold on. Now I want to show you what Carol Berry sent me this morning. And oh, when am I going to plan on talking about the border and the backing? I'll tell you what I did, but I doubt you're going to want to do what I did, everybody. This is when your imagination needs to come into play. I chose to make this a dandelion wishes a flat piece so that, and not a pillow. Too much work for a pillow, in my humble opinion. And also, if I were traveling and I want to take it, I could take it. But wait till you sit down and see what Carol Barrett. Oh, that's the wrong one. Close your eyes. Okay, here it is. Here it is. This is her piece that she's done, and some of it is needle turned applique, and some of it is wool. And I asked her, okay, did she come up with this pattern? Remember, she did Around the World, Color My World, her first quilt out of all wool, and we all lost our minds over it. Also, I got to meet her in Paducah, so there's something cool about that. All right. So it is Lisa Bongean, Bongeans. It's from her Fresh Cut Garden. I think that's kind of the center of the whole thing. And then she said there's lots of turned applique. And honestly, I'm having a hard time finding it. Honestly, Carol. It looks like so much wool to me. But she also did the piping around the centerpiece after taking a class from Susan Cleveland, her hot piping. You know, take classes, you guys, because this is how you can elevate your work. She took her class in Paducah and did that. And then I believe she told me she changed a lot of things. And if I recall, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the border was her own design. So I think this, let me see. Okay. I think this stamps what I've been saying. These are, well, what do I want for $1.50? I think this, I think this stamps that you take a pattern and you make it your own. And a lot of you have. Like I couldn't find that one with the crazy, silly, wonderful frog. Oh my gosh, that just made my heart explode. Okay, make it your own. I saw ones with fireflies, you know? Um, there was a gnome, I think with the funny little frog. Anyways, all that makes my heart so happy. But let's take a look at the close up here. Now, you've got two different kinds of bullions going on. In the center, and this is Carol's, not mine. My work's not as good as hers. Okay, let's just put it out there. The ones around the center are your regular bullion, and there are a lot of wraps which make it go around the shape of the petal. And then the outside is the wrapped bullion, and what that gives you is this fancy little edge, the darker orange one. It gives you a fancy little edge, and you can find that in books. I'm not going to teach it because I'm not that comfortable with it yet. Maybe down the road sometime, but I'm learning just like you. I'm learning. Okay, how do I get rid of that? There we go. There we go. So I actually got that this morning from Carol. And normally I do this all the day before, but I could import that picture really, really quickly. So we are going to do French knots and we are going to do bullions. I'm going to see on here if I have. Okay, let me get over, grab my stuff. And I want to talk again about needles. Well, let me get back to the picture. Wait, is Carol saying something here? Cast on bullion. I couldn't do it for the life of me. And then my girlfriend said, do it like how you start knitting. And I said, well, I don't knit. And she said, okay, think of crochet. And then it clicked in my mind. All right. So we all learn differently. What am I doing? Okay, I'm going over here to camera. All right. What's going to happen now is going to make or break your success, period. When you do, we'll start with the French knot. If you are using, let's just say, a needle, and when it comes to going through the French knot, if there's any sort of drag or pull, you have the wrong needle. You will not be able to do it if it has a pull. And I've Pull, and I've only said this 10,000 times. Now, Sue uses a bullion needle, but a bullion and a Sashiko needle have this property. It comes up, sorry if I'm repeating myself, and it comes down. Oh, my art. And then here's the hole. Basically, it comes straight down. An embroidery needle, and I want to have a hole big enough that I can get that thread through it. Maybe that's why I like the Sashiko, because you're using thicker thread. But then like a regular needle comes up, and then it comes out, and then it comes down, and then there's your eye. By looking at it, I can't tell the difference. So I am very, very careful to not mix my bullion, my Sashiko, where'd the other one go, with my other needles. I try really hard to put them back where they came from. But if I sit down to do this and it screws up, I know what's going on. Which of these two needles do I use? We have them both in the store. I don't care. I use both, and I'm pretty happy with it. All right. Let me move this up. I can see. The idea of a cast on bullion sounds a whole lot like long needle tatting. Maybe Quilting Queen. I don't know. I have never. That's one of the things I've never done. I've done bobbin lace. I've done. Haven't done macrame too. That escaped me. Poop art. Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want to get this down here as close as I can get. All right. Then I found that this mat that I've been pushing like a pusher for the last whatever, the one with the wool on one side, cutting on the other, and then it's got magic stuff in between so it won't warp the cutting, is fan freaking tastic for these 2 stitches, especially the French knot. All right, so I am using my pearl cotton right here, and I'm pretty sure this is a Sashiko needle. I'm pretty sure, not 100%. I will be able to tell you in a minute, and if it's not, then I will panic. So what I do is I come up from behind, all right, and then okay, remember I'm a left-hander. Maybe I need to come up bigger and then go down closer in a minute. Let's see if that will do. Okay, so I come up here. I'm going to hold it with my right hand, the thread. I'm going to hold the needle with my left hand, and I'm going to go 1, 2, and there's my wrap. And then, oh shoot, let me do it again. I think I'm doubled up fabric here. All right. 1, 2, and then I'm going to go down. I think that's just 1. 1, 2. And then I'm going to go down right next to it. I'm going to hold it taut with my opposite hand that I write with. In this case would be my right. And then I'm actually punching right into this wool. You don't have to, but man, it makes life nice. And if you have that lap app, you can punch into that too. And then I'm going to go down. Notice how I'm still holding it. I am still holding it. I am still holding it. And then there you go. Let me do another one. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, and then it looks like I'm doing another one, but I'm not. There's just your 2, and then I'm going to go down here, punch into the wool as close to where the stitch comes out. Then I'm going to do this. Let's see if we can do a close-up for fun. Should we try that? What's going on here? Okay. The trick is keeping my hand away. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2. I can see 2 wraps. Go down. Punch into the back, the wool. Hold it. Keep holding it. Okay, so there was a itty bitty bit of resistance, but not really. All right, bullion. Do not do the bullion first time on your piece. Grab something else and do it on that, okay? So I'm going to come up here, all right? And then I'm going to come down here. This will be the length of my bullion. And then whether it pooches or not depends on the amount of wraps I do. Again, I'm going to hold it. It's always good to get in the habit of holding your thread with the non-sewing hand. I'm going to come up right before it where it went in. Okay. One of the mistakes that I found I made was I might accidentally sew through this thread, and then you're going to be in a world of hurt. A world of hurt. Whoops. Let's do that again. So we're going to Sisters this weekend. I wonder if you guys will be there. And now I'm going to go 1, 2. I'm going to do 8 wraps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is about the same length as this. So I think I'm going to do one more. 9. Because this is longer than this, you will have a little bit of a poochy pooch. Now, what they say, hold it with your fingernails. I've got these stupid fake nails and that doesn't work. So I put my hand on it and I hold it taut. I pull it through. And it's getting funny. God, maybe this isn't a bullion needle. Well, okay. Abort. I think I wrapped too tight. Damn. Oh, wait, there it went. Let's see if I can save it. I can save it. I can. And then I'm going to pooch it a little. Let's do another one. I'm going to come in. I'm going to do another one right above it. How about that? And I have done it sometimes, and it's been so screwed up that I will go back and fiddle with it, and I can eventually get it to be like this. All right. Here we go. Right before it. What did I do? 8, 1, and I don't wrap it too tight. I think that's what I did. 2, 6, 7, 8. Maybe I did 9. You can see how exact this science is. This is not a bullion needle, or not a sashiko needle, because it's hanging me up. Pull it. You, thread, I am whipping you into submission. I am the boss. You are not. Ouch. I'm sweating. I'm sweating. Let's do one more. Oh my God, I'm sweating. Uh, excuse my language. Excuse me, Jesus. Jeez Louise. My hands are sweating. Can you see the sweat? Okay. Never let them see you sweat is a motto. When you do your first bullion and you're practicing, just do 6 wraps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what that turns out. See, it's gonna be a flat one. But see, that one went through fine. The less wraps, the easier it is. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna hold this. I'm gonna pooch it a little bit. Oh, I even think my upper lip is sweating. There you go. Oh, Kathy. Oh my gosh. This is really pretty funny, actually. Can you see the sweat? Okay. Never let them see you sweat. All right. So, all right. Baby dolls and gentlemen, we are all in this together. Okay. So, I'm going to be at Sisters. Actually, I'm very excited because Friday night I get to interview Jean and Val. They're having a big celebration. It is their 50th anniversary of the Sisters one-day outdoor quilt show. It's only rained once. It was like at 3 in the afternoon. And what happens then is all the stores where there are quilts, and there's over 1,000 quilts, they all get brought in by that store if it starts to rain. But Friday night is an interview of which I'm so lucky to be able to do this with Val and Jean. And then on Saturday, they actually gave me a special exhibit. And I am not sure exactly where it is, but I'm bringing about, I don't know, 12 quilts or something like that. And I try to do a breadth of what I do, everything from whoever just wrote that, I'm going to kill you, John. Embroider's deodorant, new product, something for your sweaty face and hands. Okay, you will be able to find me. I'm sure there'll be a map, all right? And I would love to see you. I would love to see you at my special exhibit. So we are driving up on Thursday and then coming home on Sunday. We got someone here to babysit my sweet, sweet Willow. And here's the deal, guys. It is a long freaking drive from Livermore. It's about 12 hours. And the reason we're not flying is because I've got too much quilts and stuff. And it's a pleasant drive. But that said, we're driving home Sunday, which means there's no way I can do Monday. But now I'm commissioning John this. He said, okay, on Wednesday, why don't we do an overview of the quilt show? Well, that's going to be up to John. I mean, I'll present unless he wants to. He doesn't like to do that, but that'll be up to him for the pictures he gets and all of that. So, on Wednesday, from my lips to God's ears, I'm gonna be able to do that. That is my plan. Of what? What did I say? Overview of the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show. And I think of 50 years ago, what was going on? Well, John and I are celebrating our 50th anniversary. Well, there wasn't a rotary cutter. Well, I think of all the things that have transpired in 50 years in the world of quilting. And Jean did a ton of the beginning quilt shows. Then now she has Dawn, who's managing it, and her daughter Valerie has taken over running the store, which I haven't seen it since Val's taken over, but I hear it is freaking spectacular. So I can't wait. Okay. Um, oh, oh, I needed that. And I laugh with you. At 83 years, I've been relaxed watching you. I'm glad you're relaxed, Barbara. Good for you, Barbara Faye. All right, all right. This has been super fun. Again, please practice both of these stitches on something else. If you don't have extra wool, you can do it on cotton, but it's not going to behave the same as wool. Okay. Cotton is a little bit harder to do, which I think is why people love wool so much. Oh, okay, cool. You remember being at the first one, Rhonda? You were at the first one? Well, I'll tell you something else. Simply Quilts. Some of you might remember. It was the opening of Simply Quilts, when they play the music and they roll in. That was shot at Sisters. And that was the first time I'd ever been there. And that was my baptism by fire and being in front of the camera. Okay, people, have a great rest of the week. And I'll see you when I get back. Honestly, I don't know if Dee's doing anything Saturday. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, you can go back and watch these things. And she is an excellent teacher. Excellent. If I were you, I would not want to miss them. Again, I'm assuming you're all signed up for the newsletter so you can keep track of what is going on. Okay? So. Oh, this thing jumped all the way back up. All right. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. It's a